Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeromy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeromy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Whole Health Weekly. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Chilled out a little bit here in Michigan, so not as much outside work as there was. But remember, start learning how to ferment your foods. It's worth it. You get like a year of deliciousness there. So just had some great lemon dill sauerkraut. If you missed the episode where I had Kirsten Shockey on, who's a 5-time author of different various fermentation books, which I'm scouring right now, go back and become part of our, become a subscriber on the Prize Inside, a chiropractor's journey on Rumble, the Prize Inside, a chiropractor's journey on YouTube. Also, we do podcasts. So any Spotify, Apple, iTunes, any of those, if you get on there and enjoy it, put a thumb in put something in the chat, like a thumb, a heart, wherever you're at. And that gets us going and seeing more people. Cause I got like 78 people on Rumble. I'm trying to get to 100. It would be amazing. Trying to do it as organic as possible so that I can really understand and know that, the content's worth it. So that's what I always love. This week, if you don't know, we go Sunday and Wednesday. Sunday night, we did talk on Herbal's rosemary, which was a fantastic talk about rosemary. Very nice basic herb that helps your mental clarity, which was pretty cool. The other thing is if you like newsletters or information that I have that we will put on later, we always do we're doing a tribe. If you put in tribe1.substack.com, so tribe1.substack.com, you can get on a newsletter email list, and that email list gets you we'll do a Tuesday newsletter plus any kind of transcript from this show, so that if you miss something and you want to go back, it would be fantastic. We don't smash you with a bunch of emails though. So on that one, it's just one that it tells you when we're coming on live. And then, if we put something on there, some great articles I found today. So Whole Health Weekly is all about looking at the news and seeing what's trending and what we can talk about. And I found a few things, so it'll be pretty good. Some things that we talked about last Wednesday are kind of the similar stuff for this Wednesday. So I found we dove a little more deep and then found those other ones. So that will be really fun. And I found some good Dr. Mercola articles as well. Dr. Mercola is this website that just does crazy amounts of information in the holistic world. And so I usually use his website as talking points so we can talk about the ins and outs. And before we start, I always like to start with a chiropractic quote. And this one was pretty good. I liked it. It says, chiropractic is not designed to make you instantly feel better. It is designed to make you instantly heal better. That is the beauty of chiropractic. So as we go, hopefully you guys are having a great night. And with that, let's go into some of the health trends that are happening this week and see if they're good for us. So what we do in Whole Health Weekly is we look at these health trends, because right now there's a few different ones, and we'll touch on a few that are real trendy right now. Where the money goes is where, if the money goes there, whether it's healthy for you or not is the obvious question. And Dr. Matt and I had a great conversation on different things, on holistic aspects. So one of the things that's hitting the mainstream that I would suggest to really take a look at before you actually do it is the world of peptides. So peptides are essentially kind of the holistic workaround for various medicines and drugs. They're essentially doing the same thing, but because your body makes them, right? So these peptides are something I would say call them little chemical they're things that make your car go. Okay, so let's say you have gas, that would be like one type of peptide. Let's say you have oil, one type of peptide, like those kind of things. But we have multiple chemical signals throughout our body, right? And these peptides are basically doing that same thing. So hormones are a good example. Enzymes are good. They're all these different chemical reactions that our body actually produces. And peptides are in there to essentially replace our body not producing them like they should. Okay. And so peptides, in essence, wouldn't not be an innate intelligence type thing, because you don't want your body to, you don't want to put something in your body that your body produces. Good example. We talked about one of the things that's holistic, but it's not the greatest thing to take all the time, would be digestive enzymes. So digestive enzymes, some people live on these things because they say they're holistic and their gut feels better when taking them. The problem is, one, it's showing you that you have an underlying problem, that your digestive enzymes aren't working properly. The next part of it is your body produces those same digestive enzymes. If you continue to take it, the innate intelligence of your human body is so powerful that you're going to have issues show up, in the sense of your body will stop producing the digestive enzymes that are there. Now, I say that in reference to understanding that there are times where that a peptide potentially could be really good. A digestive enzyme could be a really good idea. And so think of like melatonin. Melatonin's built by the body. We take it as a supplement. If you take too much of it, now melatonin's not produced. Now you can't sleep, right? So that's one good example of that. So like within digestive enzymes, sometimes your digestive enzymes are so messed up that once you take it, you actually digest the food a little better. So maybe that's a time that you'd want to take it. What the biggest problem is a lot of these things, if you have to take it a lot all the time, consistently, constantly, whatever, then you're not really innate healing. You're just masking whatever's going on. And so peptides, you'll hear like the GLP-1s, different ones. Essentially, they're like steroids, like think of that way. They're replacing hormones, they're replacing enzymes, they're doing all of those things. And in our human body, we don't want to do that all the time. We don't want to, replace things that your body produces. Okay. So it's as simple as that. But the problem is sometimes your body hasn't produced something for a long time. And we'll go through one today that was pretty interesting. Like one of the articles is that way, that your body may need a kickstart necessarily of reintroducing that. So digestive enzymes is a good example. Digestive enzymes, you can reintroduce it while you're getting your good gut microbiome going in the right direction. And then once that gut microbiome starts to produce what it's supposed to, you won't have a need for that digestive enzyme stuff. Okay. So that's where I'm coming from on that part of it. So remember, with peptides, I'm not a fan, right? Because it's an outside in philosophy. It means your body's not producing. We got to find out why your body's not producing is a better answer than just taking something that produces it. However, if we knew the why, then sometimes that kickstart can be a really, really good thing. So there are times where you could actually take this stuff, but there are times when you need to get away from it. And then how does your body react when you're away from it? Okay. So with that said, let's go into some. Well, let's see what's trending this week on the old TikTok. All right, I liked this one. Okay, so we went through last week. We went through neural wellness. There's a lot of hacks. A lot of wellness gurus are trying to get you into mental framework, meditation, breathing patterns. It's as if they were all watching the 1% tribe all the time, they would know that there's different breathing techniques, there's meditations, visualizations, a lot of good things out there. So neural wellness is going to be a big topic this year in 2026 because of the high stress. You got like wars all over the place, and we lose focus on what's important. Gas price starts freaking out. So then we, start panicking, and, like all these different things start causing stressors, and those stressors, in the time frame, we got to start getting to that lower level of those things. Right. And so neural wellness is a good focus, especially in breathing and meditation stuff. But we talked about that last time, so I'm going to skip it. Fiber maxing. Well, we don't. Yeah, let's go. Fiber maxing is this idea that you get as much fiber as you can. But it's like because our bodies don't produce, or we don't get enough fiber in our diet. And one of the problems is the reason that's coming up is because so many people are doing ketogenic type diets and doing pretty well on them. So one of the things about ketogenic is it does really good. When you take all these crazy things that can get in your body's way out of the way through ketogenic. Ketogenic is, meat, fat, water, basically. So no gluten, dairy, sugar, or fiber, right? And so one of the problems, though, is over time. That's why I always say if you're going to do ketogenic, you probably should do it like in spurts or something like that, because a lot of times you need that fiber to keep your gut microbiome in a good space, right? So then some people ketogenic sometimes will have some gut issues slightly, but overall, when you go on a ketogenic type diet, it does pretty well. The problem is like they're finding the gut microbiome needs the fiber to survive, and so that's one thing that you should probably add. So people are what they call maxing it out, like taking your maximum daily allowance of fiber, which could be good, but it also could cause you to have more sugars and more all the alls, right? So that one's up in the air. There's a lot of science like going back and forth on it. But fiber maxing, maybe for a day, might be a thing. But when I'm talking fiber, I'm not talking like bread and cookies, right? I'm talking like actual veggies, like stuff that actually has fiber in it. So remember that in the fibromaxing world. I thought this one was cool because it is a big one that's happening. NAD plus is an anti-aging biohacking, and it's going mainstream. So TikTok is where this trend is most pronounced, with short, engaging videos demonstrating the before and after of perceived energy boost and improved cognitive function. Biohacking influencers in the longevity space, often citing early stage research, are at the forefront, and podcasts featuring scientists and proponents of NAD plus boosting are gaining significant traction. Let's see if I can pull up this video. Let me see. Let's see. Maybe. Well, that didn't work. Okay. Let me look here. See if this does it. Okay, that's some creepy site. Okay, that didn't work. Check back with me later. Anyway, so NAD plus is a really good. Let me find a good article on that actually, because you guys would like that. All right. Okay. Okay. So let's look at this real quick. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit of the article so you can understand what NAD plus is, and then from there we can like really kind of go after it. So NAD plus is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and it's one of the most important biomolecules in your body. It's involved in the conversion of food to energy, maintaining DNA integrity, and ensuring proper cell function. And these functions help protect against any delay in aging or disease. NAD also acts as fuel for longevity proteins called sirtuins. NAD levels dramatically decline with age, contributing to aging chronic disease states. And it's also used up by DNA repair enzymes involved in inflammation and immunity. So if you have chronic inflammation, you use up more of your NAD, right? So this is kind of like what we were talking about with peptides. Okay, so stick with me on this. It's one of the most one of the most important biomolecules in your body. It's okay. We've already read that. Oh, okay. Testing the NAD level is very complicated. I'm just trying to get you through all this article, which is good. But challenge. Okay. Okay. So NAD is it's actually a hard supplementation too. So I'm just trying. So NAD is kind of the same idea. So that's one reason NAD plus is a big thing. Oh, come on. Where's the precursor? What am I looking? Okay. Okay. So there's stuff out there. So what they're trying to do a lot of times essentially is in NAD plus, you're going to get into potentially the peptide aspect. So people are, getting NAD plus, which is fine, but it's like taking a digestive enzyme. That's one reason I brought it up tonight. There is nicotinamide like powder, which could help, and you want to get the precursors to the NAD. The problem is there's no direct NAD plus supplementation out there. And that's what I was looking for, is the best aspect. Okay, so physical exercise. Actually, heat stress builds up NAD, which is kind of cool. Sleeping well, it gets your NAD up there. Let me see if there's any foods. Let's see. This is why I like looking up stuff with you guys. NAD, it's great. NAD. All right. Okay. So that's considered a vitamin, though. So niacinamide is the vitamin that is. So niacinamide is the vitamin that helps with NAD. Or I'm sorry, NAD plus, and it creates. So niacinamide. What? Oh gosh, I'm struggle busting today. What? I try to remember all this stuff. Yeah, there we go. B3. So vitamin B3, remember that one. So vitamin B3 is niacinamide. You'd think I'd remember those things, but niacinamide. So vitamin B3, niacinamide. Niacinamide is a precursor to your NAD level. So making sure that you have plenty of vitamin B3, a lot of physical activity, a lot of those things, trying to have, less cellular damage and all those kind of things will help you keep your NAD plus, process going. But there's some powders out there and those kind of things. Just be cautious of taking it, because NAD plus is good, but like all the things, if it's really, really good, the supplement, the idea of it can be, where you don't want it to replace. It's produced by your body, right? So you want to make sure that you don't do it you do it in short runs, is what I'm saying. All right. Sorry, I get all crazy. Hello, Terry. How are you? Hopefully tonight will be good. I'm not starting strong though. I'm not starting strong. So, all right, let's go into the other one that I really liked. This one's super fascinating to me because it's the same thing as what we talked about with peptides, right? Your body produces this, but in short bursts, this could be a really effective thing. Creatine. Okay. So creatine is now at day one of a journey through a hugely successful sports nutrition supplement to ingredient and functional foods and beverages. Social media posts often focus in creatine's effect on energy and muscle strength. But there's a lot of interest in other applications such as hormone health and cognition, and it's growing, and that's very true. The number of Google searches about creatine has surpassed interest in collagen, which is crazy. So let's talk about creatine for a second. So creatine, essentially, your body produces it. It's an energy creator within your body. It's one of those chemicals that we talked about, right? So you got these chemicals like niacin, NAD plus is one of them. You have all these different chemical processes. Creatine could, if you put it in what I talked about earlier in the peptide aspect, your body produces creatine. Okay. Now, here's the rub. Over time, with crappy food, with fake sugars, with junk medicines that mess you up, whatever it is, right? Over time, they begin to cause problems. And your body stops producing creatine like it should. Okay. So, one of the biggest things, and I've noticed it personally, like myself, when I've got back into weightlifting, doing creatine, especially when you're older, can actually kickstart the process. Okay. So, once it kickstarts the process, then you can get rid of not taking it all the time and see how your creatine levels stand, right? And so that's one of the things that is super interesting. You can take creatine for a while. Let's say, so I love weightlifting. I've always loved that. And creatine, even in my teenage years, when creatine was, kind of in the just the bodybuilding area, when you took it, you could feel your muscle mass, you could change. And that's where a lot of kids that are built like tanks, creatine's one of the major reasons, with a few amino acids in there and all these things. The big thing is though, especially when they're younger, you don't want to take the creatine on a regular basis because the same thing, your body will learn it. And then when you take it away as a supplement, let's say you stop lifting and you stop taking creatine, your creatine level drops to the floor. And you just don't want that to happen. And that's one reason why I don't recommend it in kids very often. And now the studies are starting to show you could do it as long as you're wise and you actually stop taking it at some time, because sometimes we get obsessed with, oh my gosh, I'm building muscle pretty quickly. And if you have more creatine, it must be better. Right. But your body produces it. It's a process in your body that we want to do. So we want to make sure we're not reliant on the creatine aspect of things. But there is something to be said for even brain health. People that, let's say they don't weightlift, but maybe doing like a really good creatine. Now, there's a crap ton of junk out there with like a bunch of garbage. You got creatine with like 27 different weirdo ingredients in there. What you want, and we get it from my Amish place. It's just straight creatine monohydrates, what it's called. And so once you take it, it's really good. You want it as natural as you possibly can, because it's replacing some kind of that process. Women should be doing it. Men should. Anytime you can build muscle, you help the hormonal pattern become homeostatic. We want to get that pathway to homeostasis, right? Homeostasis is where everything's working properly. Your hormones are going up and down. The reason menopause occurs is because women are lost their homeostasis in hormonal aspects. Okay. And so one of the things to get it back is, like getting muscle mass actually, because muscle mass and those kind of things can actually, it can start balancing you out. So it's super important to do that. But I thought that was a cool article. So creatine, I was on the fence. I would say absolutely not if you're a kid. I'm changed on that, maybe once a month or something as a kid. But one of those things where your body produces it. Just be smart with it. Okay. So that was good. Here's a good one. Skin longevity, or skin as a health marker. This was a pretty good one. This emerging merges cutting edge biotech, proactive skincare, and holistic wellness, reframing the conversation from reverse aging to optimizing skin's health and function over the long term. This is good. Okay. So the movement treats skin as a diagnostic tool and reflection of overall health. So one of these days, I got to remember to do this because we're going to talk about it. One of the things on my herbal pathway that I got to learn from, I'll reach out and see. He might do it. I have a guy named Dr. Chi. He's fantastic. He's in California, and all he does is fingernail, skin, and tongue analysis. And he can tell you what vitamin supplementation, what herbal remedies, especially in the Chinese medicine world, are fantastic. Skin is a marker of your entire overall body. And so once you start looking at it as a diagnostic tool, it's better than a lot of these biometrics you're getting from these internal numbers. Okay. And he has discerned it. I have his books in my office all the time. He does the skin, hair, and tongue analysis is phenomenal work. Next time he speaks, I want to go see him, because he's so good at discerning all these different aspects. And it just adds to my holistic herbal stuff. But he's ridiculously very well trained in that art. And one of the things that I've noticed is, you can tell a lot by your skin, different markers, different, like marks that show up, aging spots, all of these things. A lot of times we'll do things that are, because our skin gets off, instead of using it as a diagnostic tool, we start trying to cover things up. And in essence, we start to make our problem worse, and that's one of the things that is tough in today's society, because everything's about, beautifying skincare. But if I'm getting rid of my wrinkles, is the stuff I'm using, going to cause me burn my face off or, damage to the internal structure of the skin? I don't know if I would do that. Right. So these are things to think about as you're going, but that is a trend. We'll talk about some cool stuff. Maybe some skin herbals would be a good topic as well. This one was kind of cool. I like this one as one of the trends that are on TikTok. It's called micro movement snacks. Okay. This is pretty funny. So micro movement snacks are short, intentional bursts of physical activity, typically lasting 30 seconds to 5 minutes, sprinkled throughout the day to counteract the prolonged sitting and keep the body active without a formal workout. They are especially popular in workplace wellness and longevity-focused fitness because they're low barrier and sustainable and inclusive. Okay. So that's kind of cool. So it's so true. Brian, hello. How are you, sir? Brian's here. So Brian has a job where that could be a thing, because he has to drive to a certain place and then, get in and do some major physical labor and then get in their car and come back. Well, one of the things you could do in a situation like that is get out of the truck, do 20 push-ups on the ground, and then go, right? Just give yourself these different markers, right? So if you sit on your butt all day in the office, what's to say, if I just got on the floor and did a plank before I left for the day or lunch, right? You ain't going to do a plank for very long, but it'll get you, right? So I thought that was cool, the micro workout kind of thing. So where every place you go, you're doing something. I might try it. I might try it in between patients or something. I think that would be sweet. Just to go. It depends on how busy. I think tomorrow we're off Good Friday, so that'll be a little daunting of a task if I try to do a ton of exercise tomorrow. But the biggest thing is like understanding that it doesn't have to be a full workout. Good buddy of mine today, he kind of let his health go, and he was like getting frustrated because he had all these things pop up. He went to his MD, didn't think about chiropractic for a minute. And then, like he goes in, doctor's like, well, you can take this pill and that pill. He's like, why did I think of this? So he goes into me and we adjust him like twice. And he's like, I feel so much better. I go, I don't know why I didn't think of this before. And then I was saying, he goes, I really want to work out, but I just don't like going to the gym for an hour and a half. I'm like, why do you have to? He goes, what do you mean? I go, what's better? You go into the gym for 3 weeks, and you get 3 times a week in, and you do it for an hour and a half. Or I do 20 air squats once a day for every day that I'm working. Which one do you think's better? Right. You improve each and every day by doing the one air squats 20 a day, and you're done. Or you do 10 push-ups, whatever it is. The key to all of this is always why I call it the 1% tribe on Sunday night. It's those little 1% little improvements that will make you a big deal. They like to put different names on it. Then now it's called micro, what do they call it? Oh, movement snacks. Whatever makes you fancy. If you like, do movement snacks. Stand on one foot while you're talking to somebody. That's a balanced posture, right? All these different things. My dad used to have this crazy one. He'd be at the desk all the time, and he would actually do what they call eccentric movements, where he holds the desk and he would flex his upper body, and just to get the burn of his shoulders. They call it kind of negatives if you know weightlifting at all. So he'll sit and he would squeeze, go in, out, and all those things because he didn't want to miss time with his kids to go to the gym after work, right? Because everybody working 10 and 12 hours a day. Why would I want to go work out and never see the child? Or, that's a big deal, right? So that was a pretty good one. All right, let me see any others. Oh, microplastics. We should talk about this because this is a big one. As concern grows, I heard another one on podcast as well. So as concern grows around microplastics in human health, the wellness and medical sectors are moving from observation to intervention. So microplastic have become a huge problem. And it's true. But holistically, we've been screaming about it like probably 15 years, but now it's a thing. Okay. So private clinics are already offering treatments claiming they can reduce microplastic loads in the body. And looking ahead, microplastics may become routinely measured health marker tracked alongside cholesterol or inflammation. A word to the wise on that probably is I don't know what they would be using for microplastic. I haven't read up on that. I do know if you have great gut microbiome, the innate intelligence of the body can get rid of a lot of things. If your immune system's not losing its mind because your innate intelligence of your body is working perfectly, then a lot of times maybe some of these microplastics won't be as big a deal. Now, if you get inundated and assaulted with basically all these microplastics and they end up in parts of your body that it shouldn't, you should do your best to not have that happen, like where you do a concerted effort to, don't drink out of a plastic water bottle all the time. try to stay out of those environments where it's not great healthy foods, plastic wrapped meat, like those kind of things. I don't know. Like, I got to do more research on where all these microplastics are coming from. But switching to glass jars instead of plastic containers, there's a lot to that, and so if you start going in that direction, then you're gonna save yourself some things. And we're ahead of the marker right now. There's gonna be a crap ton. So what happens is we get this fear porn, right? So we get this fear porn microplastics that come out. So then all of a sudden they're like, ooh, people are scared of that. So now we will make a big deal about it. And then it's called problem solution, right? You create a bigger problem than possibly it could be, right? And then you create the solution for it. It's pretty much the human way of different ways to do it. Problem, we give you really crappy food with like fake ingredients all over the place. And then because of that crappy food and because of all this toxins we put into your body, we have a medicine for that. It's like it's a wildly popular way to go. And you can make some money off of it too. I think that's the most fascinating part of healthcare in general there. But okay, so I've talked enough about the trends. I think that was good. Microplastics, we'll go back to that one at some point. Okay, so let's go to the articles of the week. We go to, I found some good ones that you guys might like. I really like this one, and we could talk about it pretty good. So this is an article by Dr. Mercola. CoQ10 supplementation enhances peak power production in trained athletes. I really like this article. So, intense training rapidly drains the cellular energy systems your muscles rely on, which causes power to drop and recovery to slow long before you feel overtrained. CoQ10 is required for energy production inside the mitochondria, and repeated high-intensity exercises lowers the available CoQ10 faster than your body can replace it. Studies in trained and elite athletes show that supporting CoQ10 improves strength, helps maintain power as fatigue builds, and reduces signs of muscle damage after hard workout. Don't reflect how much reaches muscle cells, and delivery into mitochondria is the true bottleneck for performance and recovery benefits. CoQ10 forms designed for better cellular delivery provide more usable energy with lower doses, making training feel smoother and recovery more reliable. Okay, so CoQ10 is one of these ones that you can actually take. You don't have to take a lot of it. And that's what's nice is it's kind of the same thing. Your body produces the CoQ10, but it needs it it needs it for your mitochondrial function energy. I'm sorry, it doesn't produce CoQ10, but it's a good supplement to have. It helps give your mitochondria the energy. So a lot of times it would be good to make sure you have this CoQ10 out there. Now, there's been some controversy a little bit on taking too much CoQ10 could cause you an actual problem. So the way to fix that is probably I would take a small dose every day. But then if you're working out heavy or something, take a little bit more. And that will help that energy. It's kind of interesting that they're linking those two. It'll remind me of like when I work with athletes now, then maybe I'll introduce the CoQ10 for the power performance in that time frame. It's getting really, really fun. I got some exciting news for everybody. Like we're starting to do some really cool. I got to access. Oh, it's going to be fun. I'm learning a lot in how to do not just Facebook Lives, but actually have like a meeting, like where we all sit and whoever's interested, we'd have question and answers and stuff. And so I can't wait. I'm trying to get that down. It's a webinar. So a webinar type process that I can't wait for. That way everybody has access. We can do some fun things. Maybe have the webinar at a local business or a local watering hole or something, I think that would be so fun. But with that said, remember CoQ10, especially when you're exercising, you just don't need a lot. Just take what the recommended dose is, and that will be good. Okay, let's go. Oh, I like this one too. So this one it's called Rethinking. Okay, so there was a lot this week on this topic. So if some of you didn't know, there was a bunch of documents released from the government, and one of the documents that was released, supposedly, I haven't read the document myself in full, but they supposedly had in the 1950s had a document that said that the majority of cancers were caused by parasites. Okay. Now, I don't know. I don't know if that was just an ad for parasitic things or, supplementation. Not sure yet. So don't keep me on that. But it was a little disheartening to see that there was actually like information that they've been, suppressing a little bit. So with that said, this article was pretty interesting. So this is by Dr. Mercola. So it says rethinking cancer through cellular energy and metabolism. Emerging research suggests that metabolic breakdown inside your mitochondria may play a much larger role than previously believed. In an interview on the Rooted in Resilience podcast, that sounds good, bioenergetic researcher Georgy Dinkoff argues that cancer is not a random genetic accident, but a systemic metabolic breakdown that reflects low cellular energy. Makes a lot of sense with what he just said. Experimental animal models discussed in the interview showed that supporting metabolism, like with compounds like B vitamins, they actually used aspirin, which is funny. So aspirin, B vitamins, DHD halted tumor growth and in some cases led to tumor disappearance. The common belief that sugar feeds cancer is challenged, with evidence suggesting that impaired fuel processing and excessive fat oxidation, not sugar alone, drive lactate production and tumor growth. Chronic stress signals such as elevated cortisol and serotonin suppress mitochondrial activity, reducing your cell's ability to produce energy and repair damage effectively. Strengthening your metabolic function through balanced nutrition, like we always talk about, eliminating seed oils, which is a thing all the time, right? Lowering stress, understanding our neuro wellness, right? And rebuilding daily energy resilience shifts you from a passive patient to an active participant in protecting your cellular health. One of the biggest things I would take from this article is there's too much in health a lot of times to completely focus on, in the sense that I can send you down this rabbit hole of checking this rabbit hole to checking this. If we get to a point where most of our things is taking care of the cells within, having a good gut microbiome that allows all the cells to kind of calm down, not have a immune system crash out. If you have this immune system constantly going, which is what an autoimmune disease is, right? Or chronic inflammation, or all of these different painful processes. If you are in pain, then your cells are working harder than they actually, and you're becoming cellularly stressed out. That's what is the key. That's why, sometimes it as a doctor, it's tough because sometimes you have to have some tough conversations, in the sense of, I have some people, like they'll come and say, hey, I want to do nutrition, but I don't want to eat any different. So I want to take all the supplements. I want to feel better. I'm hurt all the time, but I want to eat the same stuff that I am currently. That's going to be a problem. And it's one of those things because it's not making a choice. If we're eating this stuff that's causing our body to get inflamed and our bodies are hurting all the time, That's cellular damage that is occurring, and it creates this aging process that we all don't want, right? So thinking of, cellular health, making sure you have a good exercise program, eating really good as best you can, right? Good water. Uh, NAD plus is one that we brought up. Anything, think of when you're looking up supplements to take, think of cellular health and then start there. Don't go, hey, I have a headache. What do we do here? Okay. And so a lot of times, if we start there and like say, okay, I want the best cellular health food environment I possibly can, that's what they're kind of showing, because a lot of times they were saying sugar is cancer feeds, or they were saying basically, and we've heard this before, the sugar feeds the cancer, right? And that's true in a sense, right? And this guy was arguing it's cellular damage and the cells not working properly that causes more of it. So if you have really good cells, then the sugar isn't as big a deal as the cells are, right? Hopefully that makes sense. But I thought that was a good article, is that process, that it's the metabolic breakdown and having low cellular energy. That is a huge, huge deal. Okay. So let me see if I got one more. I'll leave you alone after that. I like this one because I'm doing it currently. Okay. I like this. No, let's do this one. We'll do 2 articles at the end. Okay. Diverse exercise routines associated with reduced risk of death. So Dr. Mercola. I don't think I could ever be a writer. Some of these titles are ridiculous. I wouldn't engage people because I would not put in diverse exercise routines associated with death, reduced risk of death. That's just not a great article, but that's okay. Dr. Mercola, here we go. Doing several types of physical activity lowers your risk of early death more than repeating just one exercise, even when total workout time stays the same. Exercise variety protects multiple systems at once, including your heart, muscles, balance, lungs, and metabolism, which supports long-term resilience as you age. Individual exercises help up to a point, but their benefits level off, while mixing activities allows you to stack benefits without overtraining or burnout. This is stands the test of time. It's very, very true. Biggest thing on overworking or doing the same thing over and over again, your results, your body is what? It's really, really smart. It's intelligent. So once it starts doing the same routine over again, guess what it's going to do? It's going to find shortcuts to use as little energy as it can in those same routines. And you gave it the cheat sheet to know what you're going to do. And so a lot of times, like right now, I've switched from, I did weightlifting from January to March, and now I'm into high intensity workouts, which are like the CrossFit style. I do that on purpose at this time because we got a lot of gardening stuff to do. And so the moment we're going to start making our new sweet garden. We got a new idea. We want to do like one row and then a big wide gap so we can actually like walk through it and kind of enjoy it. Instead of like a clumped area. So we're going to do this huge garden row and see where we end up. But that kind of work is going to take, I don't want to be in weightlifting another 45 minutes after that. That'd be crazy town. So my high intensity stuff's very short burst, but it's hard, right? So that's the neatest thing. And if you change your routines, your body will like it too. You'll get better results as well. Some people get stuck. Like somebody does yoga for 20 years. They never change. They never go into weightlifting. Pilates, never change. Go into the same thing. Powerlifting, never change. You got to change. Once you get comfortable and good at it, it's hard to change. And that's one of the things that diverse exercise group, and thinking about it when you do it, is really, really good idea. Okay. So then the last one I wanted to do. Oh, come on. Where'd it go? Oh, so I wanted to end on this one because it's spring in Michigan. And we want to think about this because Rachel and I have been working on a little bit of this with our garden shift that we're doing. So how to amend your soil after harvest and why it matters. Okay, so this is after harvest season. So soil amendment restores nutrients, structure, and biological activity lost during growing season, helping soil recover after harvest and prepare for healthy, resilient future crops. Soil testing can reveal pH, nutrient gaps, and organic matter levels, allowing you to amend precisely instead of guessing or overlapping unnecessarily inputs. Different types of amendments include compost, manure, minerals, pH balancers, and microbial inoculants. Each serves a specific role in rebuilding the soil fertility, structure, and biology for the next growing cycle. Fall is a prime time for soil amendment. As cooler weather comes in, the seasonal moisture supports nutrient retention, microbial activity, and deeper integration of inputs. Long-term soil health depends on regenerative practices like minimal tilling, crop rotation, avoid chemicals, and keeping soil covered to protect the structure and the biology. Okay, so I would say the last one I wouldn't agree with. I think the biology, you want to cover the soil, not necessarily cover it, with a blanket or anything, but I would put bio things on top of it to create that soil. Um, I'm looking into this thing called biochar. I'm very interested. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. This guy I follow, he makes it. It was what they used in the Amazon to make some of the richest stuff in the world. So I'm going to actually order it, and I want to see how this goes. The biochar is how the Amazons, they would actually, this is wild. They would actually kind of cause like a weird fermentation underneath the soil. So they would burn it. I'll get you more information on it. I might be able to grab him as a guest. I'll try to reach out to him. I met him through another podcast. I didn't really meet him, but he might be a really fun one to put on here and to explain biochar. So I'll reach out and see if he would do it, because I think your guys are the perfect audience for it. But one of the things is prepare that soil, please. One of the ways to get off of all these crazy things, in the world, is just diving into a garden. Start with a tomato plant. I don't care. One will do it. I'm so janked. Oh, I'm so excited right now. Rachel's got, oh my gosh, she's like the gardening queen, I swear. So I get here, it's like 40 degrees out, and I get home at noon, and she is like in a tree chopping the crap out of this thing, right? And then I look in the garden, and she's already done like a ton of stuff. And so, we had a bunch of mess because all the snow came a little earlier. So we had all kinds of stuff all over the place. So now we're going to plow, we're going to till, look for some native plants that can grow to make sure that the roots are really deep around our garden, around the edges away from it. But we're going to go after that. And we're going to see what we can do. We don't need to grow a ton of stuff. It's just like the four of us. So we don't have to grow a ton. I want to just grow really well. And we want to do high quality stuff and not worry about the quantity for sure. We've done the quantity. It happens in Michigan all the time. We accidentally did so many cucumbers, I couldn't even give them away. That's how many of those suckers took off. But this year we're going after some really high end. And after my talk, if you guys ever go and become a member of the Prize Inside, a chiropractor's journey on Rumble or YouTube, you can see the one I did on beets. Beets are very hardy, very good to do. And I know they grow really, really well. So we're going to do a lot of those and be able to make some dried beet powder, we're hoping, some fermented beets, all those kind of things. So we're going to have a lot of different ones. I feel like Dwight Schrute and have myself a beet farm. That's why Dwight Schrute was so healthy. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you tonight. Remember always, too, if you ever want to reach out, tribe1.substack.com. You can actually talk to me through there, too, at an email. that would be fantastic. So remember to subscribe there. If you have any topics that you'd like us to discuss on especially Whole Health Weekly, let me know and we can go from there. But yeah, I would love to hear from you guys on different topics that you'd like me to touch on. And then don't forget Sunday night, 1% Tribe. I think we're going condition based. We'll have to see. I can't remember. I know it was herbs last week. So then we'll talk about something this week. If you have ideas for the condition, tell me before probably Friday. With that said, I hope to see you all next week. Thank you for making this so fun. My podcast has gotten over. I hate to say it, but the podcast, just the audio, has gotten over like 8,000 downloads or something, and no, 5,000 downloads on the audio, and the my Rumble has gotten 8,000 views or something. And I'm pretty pumped about that. Like when you only have 78 people and 40 people are watching the full thing, I think we're getting there, and that's why I want to make Whole Health Weekly stronger each time. Try to stay not on a squirrel, but I hope you got a good stuff. So remember NAD+. What else did we talk about tonight? CoQ10, right? And, regenerating that soil, and we'll be good. So with that said, you guys enjoy the rest of your night and have a good rest of your week.